Connecting culture through food.
Hello and welcome back to my kitchen.
Meet Chef Zola Nene, one of South Africa's best-known celebrity chefs. She's a renowned food stylist, cookbook author, and hosts her own cooking show. Her award-winning book, Simply Delicious, details her personal food journey. Recently, an invitation from afar started Chef Zola's latest culinary quest in China.
Hi, I'm Chef Zola Nene, all the way from South Africa. Join me as I discover the food culture of China and taste all the flavors of Beijing. I'm so excited.
And so begins Chef Zola Nene's latest food adventure. She's come to Beijing to introduce her country's cuisine and to dig into the authentic tastes of northern China's food fair. Zola's first mission in China was to host a South African food festival in Beijing. It was an opportunity to tickle the appetites of Chinese diners and enlighten Chinese chefs.
Through that, I got this amazing opportunity to come and be part of this, and I'm just so excited. I love China so far. Every day is a different sort of stimulation, which I love. And of course, I am a foodie, and I'm very proud of South African food, and I'm so excited to be able to share it with you. So please.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah!
Yes, I'm a foodie, so I really want to talk about everything about food.
Oh, good. I hope you enjoy the food tonight then.
So when I was told that I could host the South African Food Festival in Beijing, I was very excited because, South African food culture is very diverse. So because we have 11 official languages and so many cultures in the country, we've also been colonized by many different countries and etc. So we have a very diverse food culture within our country. So to be able to share the type of food that that we eat in South Africa. But actually when I came up with the menus for the South African Food Festival, I wanted to make it a bit more approachable for Chinese people who maybe have never tried anything authentically South African. Obviously in Beijing it's difficult to find things like snook, so smoked snook is a huge thing in South Africa. We eat it all the time. We eat it as a spread, we eat it just in stew, in all sorts of ways. So I thought I have to do something inspired by smoked snook. So I had like a terrine that we made. It was like a smoked fish terrine. So they hot smoked the fish here at the restaurant, which is wonderful. And it had the same sort of flavor and sensation as smoked snook. So people, South Africans, a lot of South Africans actually came and sampled the menu, and they could also recognize, they were like, oh, this tastes like home, because to them it's familiar, but then to somebody else who'd never obviously been to South Africa and was just trying the food for the first time, they would also be like, oh, this is interesting. And if they went home and tried the snook, they'd probably be able to link the two. Your second course. This is inspired by pickled fish, which you'll know very well. So we eat pickled fish during Easter time in Qingdao. It comes sort of fish pickled in a curried sauce. So I've basically done a fresh version of that. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was really refreshing working with chefs who were just so kind and so open. And I obviously wasn't in the kitchen all the time, so I sort of taught them how to make my specific menus or recipes, and they took it on board. And I'd arrive in the evening and they'd be like, oh, Zola, we made your terrine, what do you think? Or, oh, Zola, we made the pap again, is this right? They were like excited to learn. They were also so intrigued to learn about the cuisine of South Africa because it's so unfamiliar to so many people. We have 11 official languages and we have 11 cultures. So I'm Zulu, just one of them. We have Xhosa people, we have Sotho people, Tswana, Venda, Pedi, so many. So there's a lot of different.
Like a war.
It is. It's like a war within.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
For you.
Thank you.
And then if anyone wants extra lemon, because some people like a bit of lemon, so you put some lemon on the platters.
when you go back home and you talk about Chinese cuisine, everybody knows what you're talking about. But if you go to China and you talk about South African cuisine, nobody knows what you're talking about. So it's great that I was given the opportunity to bridge the gap, if you will, to just bring a little bit of home to China, so that it's we start introducing what South African food culture is in China, which is such a great opportunity.
During her time in Beijing, Zola got the chance to turn from teacher to explorer. As with all good chefs, it starts with an early morning visit to a local market.
So the market was possibly one of the best things that I've done in China. It was unbelievable. So I've been to markets in other countries before. When you walk into a market, you sort of expect it to sort of smell strange, just because it's food and it's always there or whatever. Straight after we walked in, there was fish on the right. The fish were jumping around, they were alive. There's different meats, lamb and beef. And then there were, of course, like fruit and vegetables that I'd never also encountered before. The more I walked in the market, the more excited I got. I don't know, it was just, I'm sure everyone was like, what is wrong with her? But but it was unbelievable. It's not like shopping, there were everyday people going to do their groceries at the market. I mean, what a luxury. And you could tell that, it's every day, it's fresh, because it smelled so fresh. And everybody was shopping just enough for the day, because they knew they were going to go back tomorrow. So it was really such an amazing experience.
The market wasn't Zola's only unique immersion into what local Beijingers love to eat. Always ready to learn something new, she attended a Chinese cooking class held in a centuries-old home in a Beijing hutong, a traditional alley in the heart of Beijing.
Hello, I'm Zola. Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Very nice to meet you.
Dumplings are an important part of many countries' cultural cuisine. In South Africa, Zola's recipe calls for dumplings that are the size of a fist, and they're cooked by laying them on top of a simmering stew. During her impromptu cooking class, she learned about fillings, flavors, and folding dumplings, the Beijing way.
I would never have ever thought to make my own dumpling wrapper before. I didn't know the technique with the rolling pin. I'm so glad that I bought a rolling pin and a cleaver. I'm going to be wielding my cleaver when I get home. It was enlightening to see, what we know as dumplings isn't necessarily what is defined as a dumpling in Beijing or in Hutong. And like I said, I'm definitely going to have a dumpling party at home. I'm going to teach all my friends, and she said, don't have a dumpling party with people who are lazy. So I'm going to pick specific friends who are going to be willing to do the work. I really enjoyed the dumpling course, and at the same time I was terrible at making noodles. I don't know if you saw me breaking the noodles all the time, but even the texture of those noodles was so different. They sort of, because we kneaded the dough so much, they obviously become a bit more, like a lot more elastic, and they sort of, they cook for a bit longer, and you chew them a bit more. And that's also what I learned in China, is that like textures mean a lot, You enjoy like slimy things and spongy things and chewy things and crispy things. So it's very the sensations that you go through while eating is just really, really different. Yeah.
More cumin. I'm gonna put some extra cumin in there, just for.
Delicious.
Zola was invited by a Beijing bookstore for a book signing and a chance to tell Chinese foodies about her cooking credo.
My book is called Simply Delicious. It is, the clue is in the name, Simply Delicious Food, which fits in with my food philosophy, which is the cooking and food is for everyone, because at the end of the day we all have to eat, so we should all be able to cook, right?
For me, sharing knowledge is so much more than just keeping it to myself. You know, I really do believe that food is simply delicious, and it's like, is a common denominator amongst everybody, you know? We can all sit down together and have a meal and find something similar, regardless of where we come from, where we've been, yeah, so which is why I really love food, yeah.
Thinly spread 8 twirl circles onto the lined baking tray. Still with me? That's, I mean, there we go. Case closed.
There to translate to Chinese.
Yes, okay, so that would be really great.
When I initially sort of knew that I was coming to China, I thought, okay, I'm going to eat a lot of noodles. That's basically, you know, I thought a lot of noodles, a lot of stir fry. But there's so much more. The food here is so diverse. I didn't realize that there were so many different regions that influenced the food so much.
Before leaving Beijing, Chef Zola finally got a chance to try her dream dish. A classic must-try known around the world. Beijing duck.
Okay, let me try it this way first. Okay, and I put the skin inside too, hey?
Yes.
In the
We
pancake.
recommended the skin and the meat together.
Together.
Yeah, taste good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Here it goes. Oh, it's good. Very good.
Finally.
Finally. Very good.
So yeah, just learning that there's so much more to the food of China than what we sort of think of it as. It really was an eye-opener, and this is why it's great to sort of travel and experience places, because you just never know. You never know what a country is like until you immerse yourself in the culture of the country, and it's been such a wonderful experience.